Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and on today's Work in Progress Wednesday, we're going to be making British Bulldog and Ludvig Borga. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. Welcome back. Like I said, today I'm going to be working on British Bulldog and Ludvig Borga, and the British Bulldog here. So I have been really wanting to make bulkier dudes. Legion of Doom have been on my list. I wanted to make a British Bulldog that was a little bit bigger. I like that's been one of my favorite things about Mattel is getting these bigger bodies on guys like British Bulldog, Brock Lesnar. I meant to say Rusev. British Bulldog has been on the Triple H torso. He's more in line with Triple H, Booker T's body, those sizes. He's not huge, The Rock. But I wanted to make a Bulldog custom that was just an absolute unit. So here we do have mostly Rusev parts, and then we do have arms from one of his elites. 94 maybe, I think it was, with those double jointed arms. I wanted to use the double jointed arms, give him the beefier arms. He's obviously got the Rusev torso, crotch piece, and legs, but I think they're all from different Rusev figures. And then the lower legs the calves are from an actual British Bulldog figure, and then the boots are from a Macho Man. So I also wanted to use those boots that had the molded tassels in the back there. So we'll paint those up red, and then he's going to have his biker shorts look from the 95 Rumble. So these are the only decals that'll go on there. They're one half is red, one half is white, and then I think he has blue waistband. So I'm going to paint all of that up. Obviously, you're going to get all the design, all the hair off here, the tattoo and everything. I had started working on this a while ago, but then I had to mod things a little bit, and I decided to completely change the formula. So the hair is painted and dry brushed a little bit, but there's also some residue from dremeling out the inside of it a little bit. So I'm going to be touching that up a little bit, and then obviously painting the facial details there with the eyes, lips, everything. But I've been looking forward to that Bulldog for a while. I know the example that Curb Stomp had on his website used a Rusev body, so I just changed up the formula a little bit to bring his height down. He's a hair taller than I'd like him to be, but the part options were kind of slim going this route. So the Ludvig Borga over here, Clarky Customs is working on one himself. 3XR Studio did one, and I've wanted to make one for a while. So with mine, I wanted to make him beefier. So he's got some Warlord legs, I believe. Oops. Those thighs are from Warlord. The crotch piece, I can't remember. I had made a big Papa Pump custom that I never quite finished all the way. But then we're gonna be making him. He was juiced to the gills. So he was thick and bulky, but he had that bloated gut because he was roided out. And the less I say about his personal life, the better. But I wanted to give him kind of that accurate look, more just cartoony, steroid bloated kind of body. And he was a new generation guy too. So he didn't last long in WWE, but that head sculpt is from Tom Veg, I believe. The torso is from Greg the Hammer Valentine, maybe? I can't think of exactly who that is from. I've got a few of those. It's that Iron Sheik torso, but I can't remember who it came with in that skin tone. And then we have some double jointed Brock Lesnar arms. The boots, he did wear some odd boots. So I have extras of these Mankind boots. What I'm going to do is sand down the brown strap of the boots. But then we still have that kind of cover on the front. So I will be painting it all white. And then we've got the decals here for him. And I'm also not sure how I'm going to do the singlet, if I'm going to sculpt it a little bit or if I'm just going to paint on the torso. I might do some sculpting. I'll see once we get going how things are looking, but I am excited to get to this. I've wanted to make him for a while. I think those calves are from Ringmaster Steve Austin, maybe? Or are at least that mold. Anyway, I've wanted to make these. I've wanted to make Ludvig Borga because he's just a weird... He was a prominent character for an extremely brief period of time. They wanted to push him hard and they realized, oh, this guy can't wrestle. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up, or wrap it up here. Moving on, let's make some customs. Okay, here we go. Long time coming. We've got Ludvig Borgas, who we're going to start out with, just painting the mohawk. I used a khaki paint for that, and I've said before, I typically use apple barrel when I'm doing hair colors just because there's a lot of options and it's cheap, and for the most part, I don't want my head slopes getting bumped anyway, so I don't have to worry about paint rub. I use apple barrel for the paint, and I use khaki for that. I did end up switching the formula around a little bit here, so we've got the Brawn Breaker lower legs, and I am going to end up switching it around at the end anyway because it wasn't quite as tall as I liked, but decals and everything. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I thought about like sewing a singlet, at least the top, but I'm going to just end up taking a hint here from Clarky Customs, who was working on, or may have finished, his Ludvig Borga he'd shown me, and just putting the decal on the torso here, and then I'm going to use the black tape I have to give him the straps that go around instead of just painting them, just to give it something a little bit different. You can see the edges are a little bit frayed, so I kind of like try to push them down, tuck them in, I guess, so the tape there, so they look more like, so it just is a little bit cleaner. And then the spots that aren't covered with the tape, I will just paint in so that it looks as clean as possible. I did think about sculpting, I just didn't, I don't do a lot of sculpting, like for straps or like adding muscles to some figures. Some people do that and are fantastic at it. That's not my strong suit. I'm happy with where I'm at, but you can see here I'm tracing out the side there, gonna fill it in with black, and I'm happy with that. For Bulldog, I got all these parts separated, gonna paint up the legs. One side is white on the trunks, one side is red. I'll paint red up on, or white up on everything, draw lines with pencil, then I'll add the red, then we'll add decals, and then we touch up as we go. So this larger crotch piece doesn't rub a lot with the paint, so that's nice. I don't know what happened with time lapse there. The boots, I started going and I just wasn't happy with the height of the figure. I wanted to bring his height down, so I painted it up here. It wasn't too bad. I wasn't in love with it, so I ended up swapping it out, and we'll see that at the end here. But trunks wise and everything, I was very happy. The red obviously covers well over the white, and then we're gonna have the navy blue to finish things off. Then I did touch it up a little bit more with the white. I wasn't sure, so the blue is clear, and then on the white side it's clear, and then on the red side it was not clear, which I wasn't sure, so I did have to do a little bit of thinking before I threw that on there. I'll paint on the rest of the trunks. The decals did include like the whole blue band to go around the legs, but I used a larger body, so I wasn't sure if it would fit. Then for the Bulldog itself, so when I have to cut it, I will place it on the opposite side of the trunks, and then just try and trace the line on the back of the decal, and then I'll cut it. So it's not always perfect, but that is what works best for me. You can see the line I drew there to get that blue in there. It's not quite the blue as that's on the rest of the decals, so I will try and just touch that up a little bit to get it to blend in well. If it would have been like all clear decals, it wouldn't have worked with the blue. This works. We figured it out. These aren't all ghost white decals, so we managed, and we'll make it through here. But a lot of little touch-ups. You can see I swapped out the tassels on the bottom there which again aren't exactly what I was going for. Technically, those Macho Man ones aren't accurate either. There's just like some side tassels in red, so that's how I'm going to paint it up. And all the other paint is Vallejo. I only use apple barrel mostly for hair. So those minor changes on Bulldog here, but then we're going to paint the knee pads, and that'll be it. I lied. I forgot about the arms. Got to paint the wrist tape in a like red, white, and blue scheme. We got those in there as well. And I actually only did this in red. I think it was supposed to be in the dark blue, but I thought all the pictures looked, or in black. I did it in black, and I think it was supposed to be in blue. That was an accident. Got it right on the other one. And here we are finally, and I went back in my work in progress Wednesday folders. So when I do customs, when I start getting ready for work in progress Wednesday, what I'll do is record a bunch of intros, and then I kind of work on a bunch of things at the same time. And I originally started this British Bulldog 9 months ago from where it's completed now. A different formula. The only thing that's been constant has been the head sculpt. I got the head sculpt, I knew I was going to use it, and I have changed so many things so many times, and even just finishing this up, I changed it again. So I'd started out, I was going to use those Macho Man lowers, and I just didn't like how tall it was making him. Him and Ludvig were about the same height, and as far as build heights and what I could find, Ludvig was either 6'3" or 6'4", British Bulldog was 5'11" is what I found. So I wanted to make him shorter. I wanted to have him to have the size though. So I did end up going back to normal size boots, and then the full tassel layovers, those Ultimate Warrior ones, which is not ideal. The they just showed a British Bulldog at San Diego Comic-Con, I think in the Legends line, that is this biker shorts look, and they used the I don't know what legs they used, but I know that they used the Build-A-Figure torso for him, and it looks fantastic. The head sculpt, Clarky Customs does have a nicer head sculpt. We've discussed this. Him and I have discussed this a little bit. He's the British Bulldog master when it comes to customs. But Mattel's version is in a different color look. It's got the like blue trunks with the Union Jack on it. I think, just off the top of my head. But then those boots do have like the molded, like a molded tassel piece that's more accurate. So I might end up just picking up extras, which I always do, especially with the Legends line, and swapping those on instead of the ones I have here. But for today, I'm very happy with it. I really like how it turned out. I feel like it captured the size I was going for, that just super built, thick look, but he's not too tall, which is what we see when we generally get guys that are bigger, stockier. With the Ludvig Borga, I swapped out, so I actually started with these legs and a larger crotch piece, and I didn't really like how it was going formula wise, so I wanted to give him the Austin torso, and that was working. I was happy with it. I had some extra brawn breakers, so I decided to swap some of those legs on there. I thought they looked really good, but then when I put him next to Bulldog, he was too short. And I tried to just put a little bit extra mounting putty in the head sculpt, and it just wasn't where I wanted it to be. So I ended up taking these legs again, using my hair dryer to pop them off the old crotch piece, pop the brawn breaker legs back off, and then got that height correct. And I do feel like it looks good. I wasn't sure if it was going to look too big, but I feel like it still captures his body. The suit he wore just made his legs, his proportions look odd in general, I feel like. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. He still has the larger Lesnar arms and gloves there. But all in all, it was a great day. I'm glad I finally finished these. Like I said, Bulldog has been 9 months in the making, and he's gone through various changes in as I've tried to get him to the channel here. But 95 Bulldog is going to go perfectly with the Royal Rumble Ultimate that they made of Sean. That's from that same match. I'll have those two posed nicely together on my shelf once we do get it. And then Ludvig Borga, he'll be on the shelf somewhere. We'll put him. He won't be front row, but he'll be on the shelf. So anyway, if you made it to the end here, I do appreciate it very much. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, and remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy more action figures. Figure Dude